Hey guys, it's Abe. Welcome to the actual first video of my progression. Um, so in case you didn't watch my welcome video to my channel, I'm just gonna briefly explain what the purpose of the channel was, and that would be just me progressing as a silver one player. I'm not a smurf. I'm not good. I've never been good. My highest peak was gold, and I plan to get at least diamond, if not platinum, in a few months. And I just want to show you guys how I climb, what strategies I use, and a way to make you guys be able to relate to my current rank, and be able to say, oh, well, this guy's silver. He managed to do it. Follow along, see how I did it, see if it works for you guys. So, um, I know this is definitely nothing new, um, but I am going to talk about a strategy I have been using for a while, and that would be to do 10 minutes of CSing. I normally use Vladimir, so I'm just gonna go into practice tool and I'm gonna select Vladimir. And the reason Vladimir is my choice is because his auto attack animation is a bit slower than normal, or at least it used to be. I'm not sure how it is now, but the purpose is to make it as hard as possible for yourself to farm. And so you take no items. Obviously, runes are a lot different now from back then.
Okay, guys, so we're in the game now. Um, there's nothing really to emphasize here. Um, you're just trying to get as much CS as possible. Um, I normally average around 60 to 65. Um, and you're just trying to get last hits. You're not using abilities, you're not buying items, and just trying to make it as hard as possible for yourself to farm. Obviously, you normally want to be getting perfect CS if possible, or at least try and aim for 80. Um, and so, um, as I progress through the journey of climbing all the way up to high ELO, I'm going to be doing this every day that I, play games. And hopefully by the end of the journey, I'll probably have a lot better CS than now. All right, guys. So before we get into the actual first clip of the game, I wanted to go over two things. And first one would be I really encourage everyone to play for quality over quantity. And what I mean by that is that the more games you play, you tend to autopilot. Eventually, after a few games, you notice yourself just running into lane, maybe dying, not even knowing what's going on around you. That's what I would define as autopilot. Um, and when you're playing for quality, you're trying to give your best and think about everything. And that could be draining. It could drain your energy. And so at the end of the day, the fewer games that you do, but increase your quality for them, will definitely show in your results. And second thing is just how the video will look and how the next videos will look as well. And that would be just small clips of my mistakes and the outcome of the game. So whether it was a win or a loss. And I would encourage everyone to comment on the comment section below to leave any opinions and tell me if I did something wrong or if I said something that doesn't make any sense, because at the end of the day I'm silver. So I'll take into account all the comments, and yeah, hopefully that will help me grow as well. So without further ado, let's get into the game. Alright, guys. So, right now we're into the laning phase. So, this is the first mistake I make. And actually, it's two mistakes in a row. Really dumb, but let's get into it. So, uh, in a moment here, you're going to see Shen engaging on me. I hit level 2, I get a nice stun off, activate Conquer, and I decide to chase him. The problem is, I have no idea where their jungler is. And obviously, he comes into to this play. And he goes on to me. I don't flash, which is in my opinion, the second mistake. First, not jungle tracking, and the second, not flashing. And then I decide to teleport into the lane with that huge wave, which is fine, except that I decide to fight Shen. And I don't even know how can I explain this. This is just dumb. I waste my flash, so that's good. Um, and I die, obviously, because you never, ever, ever want to fight under so many minions. So at this point, I am pretty far behind. Died twice, and I lost a huge wave. Okay, guys, so this is the third mistake of this game. I get ganked by the Kayn in a bit, um, and I survive. I almost kill the Kayn, but for some reason, I decide to go back in. Um, and I don't take into account my Shyvana, although it looks like I do because I go back in, but believe me, I don't. And so I die again. So what I needed to do there was just stand my ground like I did and back off and just keep farming, wait till Shyvana came in and just attempted something in there instead of going in on my own. So on to the next one. Okay, guys, so um, here I managed to get a kill on Shen, almost die, and I decided to push. What's the problem? First of all, obviously he didn't teleport yet, and I should have known that. And second of all, I still don't know where the jungler is. So that's two things to take into account before making your push. So here I go. I start getting some plates, and I decide to stick under the tower, take some tower shots, and push the next wave with my W. Um, I use all my CDs, blah blah blah, and here he comes and kills me. So what I really needed to do there was just push the wave, maybe get some tower damage, back off, because I didn't know if he had teleport or not. Alright, so this next clip of me is basically me running Shen down because he made a mistake. And my mistake here was flashing into Shen. Why is that? Because, well, first of all, Kayn appeared. I didn't even know where he was. But even if I don't kill him here, which I do, this is just being super overextended. I should have just been okay with Shen backing off, losing XP, losing CS, and me just pushing in and resetting. There was no need for me to die and give a shutdown. Okay, guys, so we're in the first game of the third day of this progression. Here I decide to freeze the wave, and my thought behind this was to try and deny as much XP and gold to Kale. So here I'm wondering if I actually did do this properly because Kale is really weak early and I just let her scale a lot. I'm not really sure if I did this the correct way. Maybe I should have just played aggro and warded my lane or whatnot. At the end of the day, we end up winning this game, and I think this is just I would say my biggest mistake slash question, because I'm not sure if I should have played this like this. Um, because I mean she does skill really hard as well, so it could have been inconvenient if it was if this didn't go the way I planned. Okay, guys, so this clip is not really a mistake. It's just an overall take on the second game of day 3, and why we lost this game, um, I think the reason for that would be me taking bad fights. I followed my jungler into questionable situations where I shouldn't. I had really bad rotations, and even though I came out ahead in my lane, I didn't know how to take my lead into other lanes, or I didn't take my lead into other lanes. Um, and so I think that's why we lost this game. Um, Other than that, there's not really much to say. It's just really bad decision making in general. So we'll move on to the next clip. Okay, guys, so this is the third game of day three, last clip. Um, and I just really wanted to go over the fact that I am lacking in jungle tracking. This game, I'm versing a Graves, so it did go through my mind that I could get a level 2 gank, but I really didn't go through with a thought, and I just disrespected him, and he does come eventually and gets me. So obviously, jungle tracking is a big improvement I need to work on. So we end up winning this game, which is good. I only died once in the entire game, and that was the Graves gank. But nonetheless, need to improve my jungle tracking. Okay, guys. So just to wrap up the video, I'm gonna put up a clip of me actually not messing up, just so I can finish talking about what I need to improve on and my final thoughts on the 3 days that passed. Um, so first of all, something I definitely need to work on is jungle tracking, and that's very important because you always want to know where the enemy jungler is. As you saw before, I got ganked and died several times because of my lack of jungle tracking. So that's something I definitely need to work on and will work on uh, in the following games until I get that down fairly well. Now, another thing I noticed was me not playing safe and holding on to summoners um, so I could use them later, maybe, which makes sense if I actually knew when to use them later. But for example, on that clip where I got ganked by the Graves at level 2, I just held on to the flash and then I just wasted it. Especially early on, there's not really a point to be holding your flash because at the end of the day, it's laning phase, and I think it's a little bit better to deal with than later in the game where if you don't have flash for per se getting into their backline or whatever and CCing their AD carry, then maybe that could cost you the game. So yeah, definitely need to not hold on to my summoners as much early on in the game. Then fighting under waves, under huge waves in my case, is also something that can definitely hurt you because at the end of the day, when you have a huge wave pushing into your tower, you just want to get that gold and not fight under it because, like I said, you're just going to take too much damage, especially early on. Another one I think it's pretty big is not looking at the minimap. That's just, pretty basic. And I really need to work on that because there was that one time where Shyvana was on her way and I could have just played that a lot better instead of just going in without really knowing that there was someone to back me up. Maybe I could have just waited a couple seconds more, let her get in, deal some damage, then go in CC. There's so many more options once you know you have a backup. Not knowing wave control, that kind of goes with the not fighting under huge waves. But yeah, not knowing how to freeze, not knowing how to fast push, slow push, that's something that at the end of the day you can just look up um, through YouTube, look at guides, and then another thing I found that would be really helpful for me is knowing the matchups. So for me, playing Set and Renekton top lane at the moment uh, is basically a must. And why is that? Because it's just me not wasting so much time learning other characters and just really getting to know these two and everything that they can do. learning combos through YouTube and guides. And then another one for me would be not knowing how to transfer leads to other lanes. I was ahead at some point in one of the games, and I didn't know how to transfer that lead, and that ended up losing me the game. Um, and you don't necessarily, once you get kills, you don't necessarily have to roam as a top laner. What you can do is just split push and just force their jungler or whoever, whatever other laner, to come and and help the top laner out, the enemy top laner. And by doing that, you relieve pressure on other lanes, and so your team can get objectives, or at least that's the idea. But uh, you should be strong enough to 2v1 anyway, if that needs to happen. So yeah, guys, that would be everything. I'll be uploading the next couple games that I play as well. Hopefully it'll take me less than a week. I'm just, starting out with all this editing and stuff, so I'm not really good at it. So once I get the hang of things, I'll be able to upload more consistently. So yeah, that's everything for this video. And if you liked the video, if you thought it was helpful, uh, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you wish, and have a good one.